Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Couch Coaches, the show that loves to talk about rugby league and predominantly the Warriors, because that's who we love. I'm your host, John Lazaron, and joining me today, my good friend and co-host, Richard Laddie, aka the Bandwagon Conductor. Richard, the time has come. The big time has come. 2025 NRL predictions. Are you ready for this, bro?
Can you hear the bandwagon's on the way up the hill? It's on the way to Vegas, and we're happy to be here. I am absolutely pumped. We've had a couple of weeks of pre-season trials to get us excited. The Warriors are at the top of the table, so long may that last and be a good omen for the season. But plenty to talk about and plenty to get excited about after that little sort of entree we had over the last couple of weeks.
Yeah. Well, to be honest with you, mate, when we decided to put this episode together of predictions, I thought it would be quite a straightforward, give me 10, 15 minutes, pencil it down. But it actually took me a lot longer than I thought. This has actually been one of the hardest seasons where it comes to predictions for me. What about yourself?
I'd probably spend about 2 minutes doing it, to be honest. I was a little bit rushed. I've been thinking about it a lot. And I was the one who said this would be a good idea, and then life just gets away on you. So I jotted a few down, had a quick look at the team lists and who was going where and who'd left. So I'm relatively happy with the order that I've sort of settled on. It's hard, because there's a lot of movement, a lot of good players have gone to new teams. And it's just hard to sort of know whether some of these teams who did it right last year, sort of like the Cowboys and the Bulldogs, whether they're going to be able to sort of keep up their momentum or fall off, whether the Warriors will be able to make it back to the 8. The Tigers are the big question, they're sort of the Jokers, they've been the wooden spoon the last sort of 3 or 4 years, I feel like. But they've got an incredibly good looking team next year. So I'm sure that I remember when we reviewed our sort of ladders from last year, we were pretty far off. I think you had the Warriors at the top of the table, and winning the premiership, which obviously didn't happen. It's very hard to win the premiership when you don't make the finals. So let's hope that they can improve. But I think we're in for just another incredible season. I don't know how the NRL keeps doing it, but I've got a good feeling about this season.
Yeah, no, you're right, and you're exactly spot on when you say it's been a lot about movement and injuries as well. We just recently heard reports about Cameron Murray, from Souths out with a Achilles tendon fracture, a rupture, and that takes a while to heal. I understand. I know that myself. I've gone through that sort of stuff. So there is a lot of movement, like you said, with the Tigers as well, etc. And it's really hard to predict. How those players, the players that have moved, are going to gel with these other teams, but. Yeah, before we get into all of this, let's just talk about the games, the Warriors trials games, leading into Vegas coming up. There was a lot of positive to take out of the last game they played in Hamilton against the Storm, but at the same time, I'm not getting too far ahead of myself. I'm not getting too far ahead of myself because. The Warriors, they put on a really clinical performance in the first half, but
you listened last year.
Yes.
Too far ahead of yourselves.
I'm not getting too far ahead of myself, and yes, and I just think that the Warriors, they put on a clinical performance, they executed well, and they looked really good. Tuapiki, my man, last year, if you were listening to our show last year, I was going on about Tuapiki, how he needed to be there, and I think he's just pushed his case further, saying he needs to be somewhere in the 17. Don't know where. I mean, obviously wing, with Dallin out, but he has to be somewhere because he's just too valuable. He's just too good. Kind of feels like a Will Young situation from the from New Zealand, from the Black Caps. This show is not a cricket show, but if you love sport, you'll understand what I'm saying. Where Will Young, he's a fantastic batsman, but always seems to be pushed out because of someone else, but then he still when he comes into bat, he performs. He got 100 last night, and then he might miss out again because of when another player comes in. So kind of that Tuapiki kind of feels like that, doesn't he? Kind of that kind of person player. He got the talent, but it's always hard to find a spot for him. But I think this year they need to find a spot for him. So the first before we go about Hamilton, the first game against the Sharks, I was quite disappointed personally. I just thought that the Warriors did look good and they did dominate, but it was kind of like a repeat of everything that happened last year, where they would get into the end zone of the opposition and they just couldn't execute the final plays. A scoring play, or even to get the opposition to do a drop out, drop go out, drop out. I just forgot the word term for it. Sorry about that. But line drop out. There we go. There it is. There it is. But I just felt that they weren't executing, and I just thought they were quite poor. I thought they should have won that game quite easily, to be honest, but they didn't. They drew the game with the Sharks. And then in the second game, again, I thought they were really good in the first half, but what do you take away when you've got like a really strong Warriors side? It wasn't a full strength side, but it was a very strong Warriors side against a side who we know are great, but they were full of players that turn out for their feeder clubs, for Storm's feeder clubs, and the only two starting players was the fullback and also Tyron Wishart. Yeah, there were only two starting players then. So what do you take away from that? That's what I'm saying. Although it was great to see the flow, great to see the pace at the ruck as well. It was really fast as well, but not getting too far ahead of myself, because the second half, when most of those players like Egan, Tuivasa Sheck, all those guys came off, and we gave the young guys a run, and they were good. Don't get me wrong, they were good, but we didn't score in the second half, etc. So again, not getting too far ahead of myself, but I still think there's a lot to take out of that, a lot of positives to take out of that trial. What were your thoughts on the games?
Yeah. I mean, much the same. I mean, you can't look too much into trials. They're trials for a reason. It was an opportunity to give some young guys a go, to try a few combinations. I think, the big points for me are probably Tuapiki looked pretty good on the wing. There's obviously a concern with him not having the size of some other wingers in the game these days. So I feel like I worry whether teams will exploit that if he does. I mean, it's looking like he will play there in Vegas, and for the first few rounds. I think last report I heard Dylan could be out for up to 12 weeks, I think. I could be making that up. But yeah, it means we're going to need to have someone there. Kossi, just, we've talked about Kossi. I think we both have liked Kossi, but he just looks a bit out of place in first grade. I think maybe he needs to make a position change. Whether, when we had the Royal Holocon last year, he sort of threw it out there like about Kossi being sort of a big man and playing the second row, which you wouldn't mind seeing, just take a little bit more pressure off sort of having to turn around and stop those balls. But from what I saw, I thought Tuapiki was good. Leatua looks the goods. Rocco Berry's another man who's injured for like the first few weeks of the season. You'd say Pompey's probably got one of those centre positions sorted. He recently re-signed for 2 years as well, so shout out to Adam Pompey. He's had a run the last few years, but you can't really question his spot in the squad now at all. And so I hope to see some more from him. But Leatua and Tuapiki had a nice little combination on the right edge there. Both getting busy. We've talked about the halves, the Metcalf, Tamari Martin. Tamari Martin obviously went to fullback against the Storm, and he looked a lot more comfortable back there. I think he just can't figure out a way to make that 6 jersey his own. He just I don't know. He just needs to get the ball in his hands a bit more, I suppose, and especially when he was playing with Sean Johnson last year. The ball was just constantly going that right side, and it was just our attack was really staggered. So Tamari Martin factor will be interesting. I wonder whether Tanner Boyd might get the 6 jersey purely because he's got a lot more of a kicking game, and what we saw at the Titans, he kicks a lot. So Tamari Martin's probably he's not a 6 at the moment, and Metcalf looks like he's grown in confidence in 7. Got a 40-20 in each game, so we'll take that as a win. The other player I had circled was it's great to see Bunty Afoa. Sort of looking good, looking keen. He seemed very on the outer end of last season. He wasn't getting much game time, but I wouldn't be surprised at all to see him on the plane to Vegas and securing a spot in the 17. It is the front row props is probably a position where we're really lacking at the moment. Obviously, getting rid of Zion, we've got a lot of kind of these big second rows who could probably fill a spot, but they're not sort of full-time props, and we probably need to have extra one or two between Bunty and Tom Ale. So and Davichik Balmulga as well. He has to be in that 17. I think he just looks to be a real versatile player. He adds a heap. So, I think there was things to like. I think Webster would have. He definitely would have had a few question marks at the start of the season that have been potentially answered now. There's still plenty of question marks with injuries, and who knows what's going to happen. I don't know if you saw today, but Latrell's out for about 6 to 8 weeks, I think. You're talking about Cameron Murray before. Training injury. So it just shows you how easy things can go wrong in training before the season. And poor Latrell, he's looking so fit. Rabbitohs really looking like they were looking to turn their fortunes around, but it just shows two of their probably their biggest names injured for I imagine Murray's out for about 8 weeks as well. So prayers for the Rabbitohs fans out there.
Yeah, no, spot on, mate. Spot on. I mean, I was going to ask you, do you think Metcalf has done enough to nail down that halfback role? Because I think he has. I think his kicking games have improved a lot. I thought in the first game he could have done a lot better. But first game, you let him have a little hit out, and he was a lot better in the second game. And like you pointed out, the 40-20s were amazing that he did. I like that. But it wasn't just about getting the 40-20. It was the vision that he had, where he saw the open space and he took the opportunity and he just backed himself to do it. So that was, for me, that was awesome from Metcalf. And it's going to be interesting to see who he pairs up with. But I agree with you with Tamari Martin. He looked more at home at fullback. I don't think I don't think he fits the number 6 role at all. And I think if he's going to be in the halves, he has to play halfback. But has he been pushed out by Metcalf already? Montana Boyd, even though he hasn't played the game, it's no secret. His kicking game is no secret. He's got a genius kicking game, and that's going to give him an advantage as well. Because that's where Tamari Martin sort of lacks, as we know, when it comes to playing in the halves, is his kicking game.
And Tana Boyd can also kick a field goal, which is something we seem to struggle with a lot last year. You think about a number of games last year where we lost in Golden Point, having 4 or 5 shots a goal. There was that game with Tamari Martin and Harris Tavita were playing in the halves, and we just couldn't get a shot up. So having a guy who can, it's pretty. If you're playing in the halves these days, it's something you kind of have to be able to do. And I think Metcalf's got it in him as well. So I think 2 weeks ago when we talked about this, I did say I wanted Tamari Martin 7, Metcalf at 6. But I'd say now, I think Metcalf's done enough at 7, and I'd probably picking Tanner Boyd to come in there, and then Tamari Martin to be, backup, probably backup fullback now, or backup half. And then there's obviously the Harris Tavita question as well. So there's plenty of, there's just so much depth in that team. It's the New South Wales team's going to have a bit of experience this year, I reckon, because there's going to be some really good players still missing out, eh?
Yeah, well, you're right, and it's a different predicament, from previous Warriors seasons where one half gets injured. We're firing out SOSs to other clubs. Like remember when Chad Townsend came over for a little while as well, and Ash Taylor as well came back.
I'd rather forget that.
Yeah. He was good for us when he was actually there, when he was actually genuinely with us. When we came over for a short-term contract, so. No, we were throwing SOS.
I think he injured himself a couple of games in, didn't he? Yeah. So.
Yeah. I think he's past his prime. So, but then now we don't have that issue. We don't have that issue now, and plus, we haven't mentioned him yet, but we've also got Jet Cleary.
Yeah, I'd say probably the only position we would probably still have that issue is the outside backs. I reckon, like we could probably do with one more quality outside back. I think with Dallin going down, it's probably shown that. Like we love to pick. I'm not convinced he's a winger. He did look, he puts his body on the line, and he's got very light on his feet. So I'm sure he'll be crossing over for a few tries, but I just worry about his size a bit. with some of these big fellas we see playing on the wing these days. We can see where you're coming from there.
Yeah, and again, as I was mentioning it, with those games, I was loving the good the ruck speed, that they were playing it. They look very fit, and they're playing at pace. And if you do that, if you play at pace, like the likes of Penrith, and the Storm do, you run teams ragged. You create that, you run them ragged, and you also open up a window where penalties come into the frame because they're not back to 10 meters. So I think they're doing really well there, and if they can keep going like that, this is going to be a big advantage to the Warriors for the new season. The short passing as well. I thought the short passing game that they were doing a lot of short passing plays there and within their sets, and I just thought that was awesome. That also created a lot of there were a lot of hesitant defenders. What to do. Do I come in? Do I go out? Do I come in? Do I step into? So I thought that was awesome as well. I thought keeping the defense off their toes is always a good thing, and I see that they've implemented it more into their game, well, in the games that we've seen anyway. So I just thought that was a really really awesome thing to see about the Warriors. Hence the fact I keep saying a lot of positives to take, but not getting too far ahead of myself. As from when I'm saying that I'm the one that said I'm not going to say it's our year, and just to clarify that, because I did get one person come to me, reach out to me and say to me, "Oh, so you don't think the Warriors are going to do any good?" I said, "No, that's not what I mean. I hope that it's our year. I'm saying I just don't want to say the phrase. That's what I'm trying to say. I'm not going to say the phrase, but most people got it anyway. It's a common phrase, as I said. Just don't want to say it this year. But I know you're against me on this one."
You just hate the Wars, bro. Just admit it.
No. No way.
I did have a question just based on, I suppose, like what we saw last year and from the trials. Yeah. Who's the player that you have circled to that needs to improve the most? I've got an opinion on this, but I just feel like there's, after last year it was a pretty disappointing season. There was probably a few players who would have put their hands up and said, I didn't pull my weight enough. Who is anyone you've sort of circled to say this? If you've got a couple of players, go for it. But if you've got one player, you think needs to sort of step up, who would it be?
Honestly, this is not going to be probably not a popular opinion, but I think Roger Tuivasa-Sheck. I think Roger's the man. Don't get me wrong. I think he's an amazing player, and we all know what he can do. We all know what damage he can do. I just thought his return back to rugby league wasn't as great as I thought it would be. And I think mainly because, and I think it was more due to the fact that he was playing in the centre role anyway. I think it's a role that's just not for him, and I think he needs to be more in the middle. He carves up, in the middle, and a bit of more open space. And I think that you get that open space really at centre. I think you get it more as a winger or a fullback, and that's why he's been. If he's not going to have the fullback role, I think the next best thing is winger, where he can actually do a bit of do his bits and pieces. Good in the air as well. I think he needs to step up, but I think he will. I don't doubt his talent. I don't doubt his ability, his temperament, or anything like that. And I think he will have a great not breakout season, but he's going to have a great season. But I think that will happen because of the switch in position. I just don't think he's right for a centre. And that's why we've always had Warriors at the moment. We're having problems with that sort of. I think Rocco Berry would hold one down if he was not injured. And then you've got and I think Lauatiti should be there and help Pompey. But I like Pompey. I like Pompey as well. I think there's a lot of people. There are a lot of haters out there, to be honest, about Pompey. But I think that he's done all right. I think he's done all right. But I don't. I still probably have Rocco Berry and Lauatiti there. But in terms of someone to step up, Rocco Berry. Roger Tuivasa-Sheck, but maybe even Kurt Capewell and Nyukuri. Those guys. I think Marata Nyukuri is always going to be someone that's going to be in the 17. We all know that. He's just that. He's a marquee player for the Warriors. One of the marquee players for the Warriors, and I just think he just didn't. We know how damaging he can be, and I just think that he needs to step up. I just didn't think he was himself last year. I think many would, if you're a true, genuine Warriors fan, you would agree he wasn't just doing what he normally does. So he wasn't himself last year. So I think he definitely needs to step up. Probably actually more than Roger. Probably Nyukuri now that I think about it. And I was going to say Capewell as well, Kurt Capewell. But I mean, Capewell did do some good things, and it got him Origin selection for Queensland. I thought he did pretty well for Queensland as well. So and I thought, and I at the time when he got Origin selection, I remember saying to you, hope this improves his game for the Warriors, and I think it did. But I think he could still do a lot better. So those would be my three players. I would shift Nyakure to number one, and Roger to two, and Capewell to three. That'd be my three, and I'm not going to put Kossi in there because I just think Kossi isn't always he's not always in the starting lineup. I think he gets put in there when there's an injury, but I think he needs to improve dramatically because some of those drop balls were just so simple. He had no pressure and stuff. And going on what the Holic said, when he was with us last season talking, it's not a bad idea, is it? Maybe putting him in. He's a big body. He'd easily fit into the forwards. He'll be fast as well. So it's not a bad idea. It's not a bad idea. But in answering your question, those are my top three.
Yeah, I mean, I think Nyakure is a clear one for me. I think he's sort of come into the team and he's supposed to be this sort of hard-hitting, flashy second rower. I think Capewell plays more of a structured sort of second row, position role. And I think you're definitely right with Capewell. Like towards the end of last season, I thought he was one of the best in the park, sort of week in, week out. So I wouldn't say that. I think if he can just build from there, I don't know whether he needs to be in there, but yeah, Nyakure was far from his best last year, especially compared to what we saw in 2023. And with the likes of some of these young guys coming through, Dimitri Ramoga and even sort of Lika Halasima, when we saw him get a couple of runs last year, this is the sort of these. You look at some of the other teams in the comp, and they've got these hard-hitting, tackle-breaking second rowers, the likes of sort of Kikau and Olakawatu, and I'm sure there's plenty more I can sort of rattle off, even sort of, so we need Nyakure to be more like that, I reckon. And I mean, as I said before, I'm sure he knows it. Roger's a good shout. Not a centre. I think we saw on the weekend what he can do from the wing. He'll be
exactly. Yeah.
We saw a couple of little steps there, So if we can give him some space, and he just can't. He wasn't able to utilise that step in the centres, and that's just criminal because that step's one of the best you'll see in any form of any form of sport. Like that steps is right up there, and I think Jackson Ford. I mean, he's almost not even in the 17 now, and he's someone who, he was a regular starter probably, for about half of last season, I feel like, and then slowly sort of, they were trying to use him as a bit more of a utility, playing sort of a bit more in the front row, and then he sort of got pushed out to the bench, and he wasn't even making the 17 by the end of the season. So if he does get a chance again, and I'm a big fan of him. I hope he does, but there's just so much sort of depth in that that second row spot, particularly at the moment. He's probably going to round off my top three. So I just hope the team can improve on last season. It was really disappointing.
Yeah.
They'll be aware of that. Losing the likes of Fanua Blake, Sean Johnson, Tohu Harris, some big names, some huge names.
Yeah.
Two of the top 5 Warriors of all time. And potentially even 3 of the top 5. To be honest with you, I mean, Fanua Blake was incredible. Sean Johnson, absolutely. Tohu Harris just epitomises what it is to be a Warrior. So, there's a lot of experience they're losing, but the team, I think they've got the talent there, and they've got the young fellas coming through that if they can keep them there for the next couple of years, we could be this could be the start of a new generation of the Wars.
Awesome, mate. I love the question, and I'm glad you believe in the team. But there are because there are many out there who don't believe in the team. I've just over the last few days just doing a little bit of research and seeing other people's predictions as well. Mainly people out who are not Warriors fans, etc. Everyone has the Warriors. I didn't find one person that had the Warriors in their top 8. I think. I could be wrong here. It's a bit of a memory loss here, but I think maybe Phil Gould. Was it Phil Gould that said that he thought maybe the Warriors will make a big jump this year? I can't remember, but I haven't found one prediction ladder that had the Warriors in the top 8, which is quite interesting for me. I mean, I think people are still going on last season, but I think on paper we look really good, and also not just on paper, but with the amount of young talent coming through, I think we're going to make a big dent this year. And I'm not going to go and do my predictions saying that we're going to win the premiership or finish number 1 in minor premiers. Sorry, that's what I was trying to say, not the premiership, minor premiers. But I will say that I believe the Warriors will make the top 8 this year, and from there, who knows? I really hope they can win it this year, but I really believe that they'll make the top 8 for starters. So let's just get into predictions right now. Let's get into predictions. Wanted to ask you another question about the roll ball. Yes or no? About the roll ball rule, but we'll talk about it right there at the end. Let's get into predictions. Okay, so 17 teams, as we mentioned earlier, not the easiest to pick because of a lot of the movement going around. Should we start with our bottom? Let's start with the bottoms from 9 to 17. Let's go from the bottom ladder first, and then we'll go for our top 8. So, do you wanna kick us off, mate, and go from 9 to 17, and your reasons why?
So starting at 9, I've got the West Tigers. So obviously, normally either finish wooden spoon or 9th, and I don't think they'll finish the wooden spoon this year. I think Luai is going to be an absolutely huge signing, if not the signing of the year. Benji's still not really tested as a coach. They'll lose a bit out Origin time, I imagine. But yeah, I mean, they've got a pretty solid spine, the likes of Galvin and Luai, Kurosawa and Jerome Buller. So yeah, I mean, I'll be sort of cheering them on, and if they make the 8, I'll be happy. But they're probably not quite there just because there's so many good teams there. But I think really good off-season signings there. I'm expecting the Cowboys to drop. I sort of mentioned before, there was the likes of sort of the Warriors and the Broncos in 2023 who had great seasons and then dropped out of the 8. I'm picking the Cowboys to sort of follow that trend. I think they looked like that last season. They're a team that could score a lot of points, but also let in a lot of points. And sort of like they would keep in games. So if they get sort of found out in that way, and teams just get a bit more sort of figure out how to defend. I'm not sort of not rating them to make the 8 this week. Yeah, I had the Rabbitohs higher, but now that Murray and Latrell are out for extended periods of time, I'm gonna put the Rabbitohs in 11th. I did think that it looked like Wayne Bennett was back, and they were and they just looked like they were sort of trading the house down, as they say. But I think with Latrell and Cameron Murray out, it'll be a very hard start to the season, and then both of those players will also be out for Origin, and they'll take the hit from that as well, providing they're fit by then. I've got the Knights in at 12. Just they seem to be one of those teams that have just been hanging out sort of around about there. They obviously had an alright season in 2023, but dropped out last year, and not holding my breath for them. Bulldogs on 13th. I'm expecting like the Cowboys. I'm expecting the Bulldogs to drop off a bit. They obviously have done a lot of last few years. They've been sort of building up, a lot of new signings, but not a heap of new signings this year. They've obviously got Montoya from the Waz, but I don't think that's going to be enough. With losing Edo Carves, obviously a bit of controversy there, and probably essentially was a distraction during their finals run.
Definitely.
So Edo Carves gone to the Eels. And then to finish it off, these 4 teams could probably go in any order, but I've got the Dragons. They've obviously lost Ben Hunt. Could be a good thing for them. Obviously, there's a lot of drama with Ben Hunt not sort of wanting to be there. But they also lost Lomax as well, so it's pretty hard when you sort of lose your 2 best players who didn't want to be there. So maybe it'll help the culture, but there's still 2 quality players to lose. I've got the Dolphins in 15th. I think losing Wayne Bennett as a coach, that's the big thing. I would absolutely love to see them make the 8. They were so close both years, but I think losing Wayne Bennett's just going to be massive. Titans, have a look at the sort of losses and gains. They've lost the Tana Boyd and Aaron Clark, and they've gained Regan Campbell-Gillard. So he wasn't even wanted by the Eels, and the Eels haven't been that great the last few years. So he's probably on the wrong side of his career. And then, unfortunately, my beloved Raiders have got them coming 17th.
Wow, interesting.
They're just they're just one of those teams that you look through the squad and there's not that much to be excited about, to be interested about. So, as I said, I could probably put those last 4 teams in any order, and I probably should have been a bit nicer to my beloved Raiders, but that's how I've written it down. So, there it is.
Yeah, no Viking claps for you, mate. The thing is, fair enough. I like that order. Mine's actually quite similar to yours, actually. So good minds think alike. So I had the Tigers at 9 as well. I think they're going to make the big leap, and I think that Jerome Luai is the key, not only for his his ball play ability, etc., and his confidence, but he knows how. He's been in a winning side 4 years in a row. He knows how to do it, and I think that it'll also have Lockie Galvin. Like for example, I think he'll take a lot out of being under Luai's wing. I think he'll excel. I think we already know he's a great young player already, and I just think having that half combination will do well. And I think while I don't see them making the top 8, I still think that they will make a big leap this year. And I did when I was doing my predictions. Actually, I actually had them in the top 8 at one point, but then just tried to be realistic a bit, and then pushed them down to 9. And but I wouldn't be surprised. While I'm not expecting them to make the top 8, I wouldn't be surprised if they creep in. I just think that there's something about the Tigers this year where they're feeling a little bit more confident, kind of like the Bulldogs, where you feel like there's a bit of confidence there about what they're doing. But that was my 9. 10, I had your beloved Raiders. I had your beloved Raiders at 10.
Big to me.
I actually thought it was pretty harsh of me to leave them out of the 8, but there's just other teams there that I just believe will get ahead of them. So yeah, Raiders, and like you said, they've got some good players in there, but yeah, nothing that's just making you get too excited for the season. But we'll see. Souths, I just think those injuries puts a dampener. But I mean, Karen Murray's a big loss, but he's only one player. But I just think that they've also lost a lot of other good players as well. Cook as well, etc. To the Dragons, etc. I just think they've just. I just don't think they've got the team on paper to do it, but they could prove me wrong. Dragons as well. I got them at 12. The Dragons at 12. They've gained a lot of players. They've gained Cook. Who else have they gained? They've gained. Who else have they gained from the? Who else have the Dragons gained?
Gutho. Clint Gutho.
Yeah, Gutho. Yeah, from the Eels. Yeah, Clint Gutho from the Eels. They've gained him as well. They've lost Ben Hunt. But that wasn't always the. I think there was a lot of things going on behind the scene that interfered with his game. So maybe it's a good thing that he's not there for them. 13 Eels. It's a hard one because the Eels, they just haven't performed. But and you would think why not, because a lot of teams you need a good forward pack, but you also need a good spine. And the Eels have had an amazing spine for a while. You got Mitch Moses, who is the New South Wales incumbent halfback there. You got Mitch Moses playing at halfback. You got the New Zealand 5'8" Dylan Brown playing there, and you also had Gutho last season as well. So you had an amazing spine, and I can't remember who the hooker was for the Eels, but they had the halves at least and the fullback, but they just couldn't do any damage. They were quite probably to their standards very embarrassing, and I don't see them doing anything great this year. 14 Cowboys, same thing, same situation. They've lost some players as well, but I just don't see them doing anything major. They've got some good players on paper, but I just don't see. Gut feeling says they're not going to do much this year. So I got 15. Got the Dolphins. Exactly the reason why I've got them there is exactly what you said. I believe the team was built around Wayne Bennett, and I just think that now that he's gone, it's just going to be hard to do that. I'm not saying that the incoming coach is a bad one. I'm doing bad with names today, but he's the Tongan coach. I just forgot his full name. Yes, that's the one. What's up with my name? What's up with my memory today? I don't know. But anyway, I'm not saying he's a bad coach. He's a great coach, and he's proven it with Tonga as well. But I just don't think that. I just think with Wayne Bennett gone, and like you said, everything that all the points that you were making, I just think that they'll struggle this season. I've got them at 15, 16 Knights. Yeah, not a lot to look at on paper, is it? I mean, you've got Kalen Ponga, Bradman Best, who are amazing players, but those are the only pretty much great talent they have on their books, and don't think they have a good roster to make a dent. I think they'll end up at 16, and I think the Titans will end up last this season. I think they'll definitely end up last, and I don't have a specific reason why, just a gut feeling. That's the honest. I haven't researched the Titans too much for this, to be honest, which is not good on my part, but I just still feel like they'll be in 17. So yeah, that's my 9 to 17. So we're very kind of similar with the teams. Yeah, so, and the reasons why. And I think most people, looking at other predictions, they've got something similar as well. So, but, who knows what's going to happen. The NRL always throws things at us, except for the top 3, except for the top 4. They always seem to be the same. But let's go into the top 8, the big one. Let's talk the top 8, the big one, the more exciting one. So, who have you got from 1 to 8 and the reasons why?
I'll go backwards. Just to mess with us.
Right.
So coming in eighth, I've got the Mighty Wires. I think they will make the 8, but I've just got a few other teams sort of finishing above them. Obviously, some good off-season signings, like Aaron Clark. Fisher Harris is going to be. I think we've seen sort of the effect he's going to have. I don't know if you watched the Māori and Māori Indigenous game on the weekend.
That game, yep.
You could just see the sort of. A lot of people talk with him about the sort of mana he brings to a team, but you could see it. Like he just seems to really bring this element of just respect, and so I think he'll do wonders for the Warriors. Co-captains as well with Mitch Barnett. So we talked about it. Could be an option. Happy with them both being there. But yeah, I just don't know whether we're going to have that killer blow to finish further up. Be happy if it happened, but we'll leave that there for now.
I thought you said it's our year. I thought you said it's our year.
It's always our year, bro. Honestly.
All right.
7th, I've got Parramatta. I think they will be a much improved squad next year. They've got obviously no Gutherson, but they've still got Moses and Brown. I think Moses in particular, if he's had injury free, I think he's going to be one of the more influential players in the comp. They've got Lomax from the Eels, not from the Eels, from the Dragons. So he'll either play on the wing or fullback. Got Adokar as well, so they could potentially have Adokar and Lomax on the wing, so are two of the more slippery characters around. And there's still a pretty lot to like about the fullback. So I like the Eagles 7th. The Eagles, I sort of were down on them last season, but they just kept sort of pushing and outperforming how I had them. So I'm going to give them some respect this season and just have them sitting at 6. Still got, Cherry Evans is still there running the show, and I mean, even though he's getting older, he seems to just be aging like a fine wine. The likes of Olakauatu, plenty of Ruben Garrett, plenty of Tommy T if he's fit, he potentially this could be the season he just has an injury-free season and really just knuckles down. So I've got them there. I'm going to put the Roosters in at 5th. I think they'll still be alright, but they've obviously lost the likes of Joey Manu, they've lost Joseph Suwali, Warrior Hargraves, Sam Walker's out. He did his ACL late last season in the finals.
The cheese as well.
Yeah, cheese as well. Yeah. So I think they'll still be in the 8, but they're probably rebuilding a little bit. So there's a lot of people who are like, they could be in the top 4, but now I'll have them just sitting outside. I think we'll see a much improved Broncos, so I've got them in at 4th. I think the presence of Michael Maguire coming in there, I think he'll whip them the A into G, because they are a team. I mean, the Warriors fell off last year. The Broncos should not have fallen off last year. They started the season well, and they have the most stacked roster. So I think it sounds like he's coming and pulling some of these guys into the line. It might have their heads are getting a bit big for their bodies. The likes of your Reece Walshers, obviously they've had the Ezra Man sort of drama, but with Ben Hunt coming from the Dragons, he'll slot into the house of Reynolds. So you got a very talented, experienced pair of halves there who are still playing some regular footy. So if they can stay fit, I've got Broncos fourth. I've got Panthers. I just can't see them sort of. I haven't got them winning this year, but yeah, I've got them there in third. Even though they've lost a lot of players, like they've still brought in some good players. They've got Blaise Talangi coming. They've got Isaiah Papali'i. So yeah, some good players there. And I mean, Cleary's still there, and his dad's still there. So as long as those two are still hanging around, obviously the question mark at 6 is a big one.
Look, Blaise,
will I go on?
It'll be really interesting to see how. I mean, they had Talangi there in the trial matches. So I mean, I'm assuming that's where they penciled him.
Yeah, I thought they had him playing fullback, but yeah, I mean, either way, I mean, I think he'll fit in sort of wherever he is needed. He's a great player. I got the Sharkies second. I think the Sharks look like they're going to be good. They've been very good They've been pretty good the last couple of years. And then Fanua Blake looked pretty darn good in the trial on the weekend. So he's back home with his whānau, so might be happy again. Maybe he'll be celebrating with the team. Who knows? Not dark about him leaving the Wales at all. And your boy, I think your boy Nico Hines will have a good season. But it's boring, but I've got the Storm. I got the Storm finishing first. I can't look past that spine if they can stay fit, you know. Herrick Grant, Cameron Munster, Jerome Hughes and Ryan Pappenhausen. Like, it's just 4 absolute world class players there. You got the likes of Tui Kamika and the forwards. He's one of the more underrated front rowers in the game, I think. Obviously Christian Welsh has announced his retirement this or maybe last week, so that's a big blow for them. A lot of experience there, but I mean, Bellamy's still there. They've got Fire Logo. Like, I mean, they'll figure out if they can figure out what to do with him. Wishart as well. You know, like, I mean, what the Warriors would do to have Wishart, I'd take him.
We were saying that, weren't we? Yeah, we were saying that last season. Yeah. Like, I'll take him in a heartbeat. I mean, he comes off the bench, but he's just amazing. And I think most players would. Most teams would actually, take him in a heartbeat as well. He's just amazing. I wouldn't be surprised.
Like, he's got the utility factor. He's played fullback, both halves. He's played some hooker. He's a smart player. Well. So.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if he'll do a Nico Hines. Where Nico Hines left because, he wanted more of a starting position. That's what Nico Hines. So it might be that kind of case, but hopefully he has better luck than Nico Hines. I mean, yeah. You make it sound like I hate Nico Hines. Just gonna give him a little stick last year. You make it sound like I hate Nico Hines. I just gave him a little stick. I was just being honest, just honest criticism there. But anyway, I like your top 8, mate. Very similar to mine as well. And I'll follow your lead and I'll go from 8 to 1 as well. So I've got 8 Roosters coming in at 8. And purely for the same reasons, just I think, like I said, we're pretty on. We're on par with in terms of the points of why we think they're going to end up where they are. You had Roosters at 5th, right?
Yes, I did.
Yes, I've got them at 8th, and I think losing Sam Walker, to a major injury, he's going to be out for a chunk of the season, is a big dent. People are saying, we got Chad Townsend to replace him, but I think he's way past his prime. Chad Townsend. Not saying he's not a bad player. Doesn't mean he can't do the job, but I just don't think he's. It's going to cause too much issues. And they lost Jared Hargreaves as well, so they've lost players, and I just think that this is more like a rebuilding season. I don't know. I just can't help but feel that this season is like a rebuilding season for the Roosters, where they're getting players coming in together, and they've come in together. And trying new combinations. They've lost Sueli. They've lost, like you said before, Joey Manu as well. Could come back. There are rumours that he could come back, once the Japanese League One season is over. So who knows what's going to happen there if he doesn't want to pursue rugby further on. Apparently he's not happy in what's going on over there. So don't know what's going on. You always hear things in the media, but you actually don't know if it's actually true or not. But so I've got them. Like I said before, Chad Townsend, they got him in there, but past his prime, not in his prime anymore. I don't think it's going to be a big, like having him there is going to uplift the team. I don't think it's going to do much, to be honest. Yeah, and like I said, the cheese is gone. He didn't have the greatest season last season. The old Brandon Smith, but having him out there, having him not in there as well was a big loss as well. So that's what I've got. 7, Manly. Exactly the same reasons. I think they're a team that just pushes through. They've got the players to do the job. Derek Evans, like he said, ages like a fine wine. Cherry Evans, and does the job. Not only does he do the job for his club, he does it for his state as well. Even though they didn't win Origin, he's always there doing some amazing work.
Losers.
Don't worry, they'll get you back this year. It's very rare that New South Wales win. So that's all I'm going to say about that. I've got the beloved Warriors at 6. I've got our beloved Warriors at 6, and I'm hoping that I'm wrong and that they actually finish further up. That's what I'm going to say. And but I just think, as we've spoken about prior to these predictions about the trials, etc. I just think Webster's, he's got a lot of selection headaches ahead of him going into round 1, and that's never a bad thing. It's never a bad thing to have selection headaches, and I think whoever he puts on the field, is going to do a good job. And I think Tuapiki will have to get the go ahead of Kossi. And I'm with you on this one. I think you might need a bigger body there, but for the time being, he can do the job. Or even I wouldn't be surprised even if he puts Pompey there. I don't know. But anyway, the whole point of this is saying that Warriors are going to finish in 6th position, and I think Barnett and Fisher Harris leading from the front. I just think if they continue to do what they were doing in the trials with their short passing, the quick ruck speed, etc. But if they can just improve the execution at the end on the the 4th plays or the 5th plays, I think they will do a lot of damage. They'll do a lot of damage. And I think they'll finish 6th, but I'm hoping it'll be further up. I've got the Sharks I've got the Bulldogs at 5. I think they've Phil Gould has done a great job in recruiting, and over the past has done a great recruitment job, great recruitment drive over the past few seasons. And if you look at that team on paper, it's amazing. And they showed last year what they're capable of. And I just think, a fresh squad, a fresh season, and I just think from here they're just gonna, they didn't start the greatest. Oh, could be wrong there, but anyway, let's leave that one out. But I just think that they will do a lot of damage as well. I think the Bulldogs will do a lot of damage this year, and I think they will be one of the threats. 4, Sharks. Yeah, I saw that. I saw that little shake. The Sharks, I have it 4. They've obviously poached Fanua Blake over there, and wherever he goes, he does a great job, and he's a menace. He's hard to stop. Always gets our forward meters going forward, and I think he's just going to do a great job. But I think for them to do really well, they need Nico Hines to fire, and you never know what you're going to get when Nico Hines is on the field. You don't know whether it's going to be a hot Nico Hines or cold. I don't think he's ever lukewarm. I think he's either hot or cold. And I think lately he's just been more cold. And yeah, I don't hate him, just saying that. Broncos, 3rd. I think I agree with you that they have a great squad on paper. They've got a stacked team, like you were saying. And I think Michael Maguire, I just think he will be able to push out of those players the best out of them, like he did with Origin, with New South Wales. He put a New South Wales team together quickly. He picked players that we didn't think they would be there. Like Lomax, for example. I didn't think Lomax would, had a shot at Origin, etc. Got in there, and they all did amazing. So I just think with the squad that he's got, he's going to be able to just churn them out, and I reckon they'll have a lot better season than they did last year. That's for sure. So the Broncos, I've got 3. Panthers, 2. I've got them coming in at 2. I don't see them winning the premiership at all as well. I don't think they will win it, but they've lost a few major key players, in Luai, James Fisher-Harris, etc. But I still think they're going to be right up there, because for the past 4 seasons, as they've shown us, no matter who they've got on the field, they've got the blueprint for winning. They're a squad that has the blueprint, to win games. They know how to win games. That's the thing about the Panthers. They know how to win games. Kind of like the All Blacks of old. No matter what team you put out in the All Blacks, they just knew how to win. Even if they were losing with 10 minutes to go, they knew how to come back and steal the game. I think that's what the Panthers are good at. They have a blueprint for winning. And they still have a stacked squad, even with the losses of Fisher Harris, etc., and Jerome Luai. But I think that this year will be the end of their run in terms of premierships. but I still think they'll be right up there. And like you, I had the Storm at 1 and probably winning the premiership. They haven't really lost much this season in terms of injuries or we see Christian Welsh but they haven't really lost much. They haven't really lost much in terms of players, and their spine is amazing. Their spine, you've got Jerome Hughes, who's probably the best halfback, maybe arguably maybe the second best halfback behind Nathan Cleary in the competition. But you put him right up there with him. You got Cameron Munster at 6. You got Nick Meaney, who's been playing amazing over the last couple of seasons. Pappenhausen, Wishart. You got an amazing team there, and no, I can't see. I honestly can't see anyone really pushing them. I mean, except for the Warriors.
Yeah, it's a bit boring, but we're both going for the Storm after all.
It is boring, but yeah, I can't remember, but I think most people have the Storm up there for the same reasons, because there hasn't been a big, major, dramatic shift in their squad, and so the players that are still there, they've got the bulk of their spine there, and they've got all the great outside backs. They've got a good forward pack as well, and great utilities like in Wishart. So I just think that they're going to be hard to beat.
Yeah. You think about last year with obviously Munster was out for ages. Wishart came in. Pappenhausen's always he's always going to spend a couple of games on the sideline, but they've just somehow got these amazing players that can just come in and fill those spots. And it's similar to what you're talking about Tuapiki before, that sort of the Will Young factor is they just come in when they're needed, perform, but they know their role in the team. And that's sort of obviously the culture that Bellamy's created. So yeah, I've probably got a Storm playing the Sharks in the final, and I think the Storm will win this time.
Yeah, I see the Storm in the final. I don't know who.
Who's your Dally M prediction? You got a Dally M prediction for us?
I don't. If I'm just going to make one up right now, I would say Jerome Hughes. Hughes.
Back to back.
Jerome Hughes.
I got Mitchell Moses. I'm speaking the big season for Moses, bringing the Eels back into the 8. They might not go too deep, but I think. Especially if Cleary's fit and playing Origin, he'll probably still be playing club footy during that section as well.
Well, I say Jerome Hughes, but the danger of being in such an amazing team is that you don't always get all the 6 points, but other players might get all the points, which what robbed Sean Johnson of his Dally M. When you think about it, so
Noah Blake was stealing all his points.
Yeah, exactly. So, yeah, no, I think it's going to be hard to beat the Storm. I think it's going to be hard for teams to push them, but let's see. I was really very wrong with my predictions last year. I don't know. I can't remember how you did with your predictions last year, but
I had the Panthers winning, so I'll take that.
Yeah, the funny thing is that on with these predictions, I was just having a think about them before, and I took my wife out for Valentine's Day on the Saturday because with the baby we could only get a babysitter on the Saturday, and we were sitting down, and I can't remember how the conversation started, but my wife said to me, "John, the Warriors aren't making the top 8 again," and she said that to me, and I was like, far out, ruthless, and I was just like, she's like, "There's no Tohu Harris, there's no Sean Johnson. It's not happening." And I just said to her, "Well, we've got James Fisher-Harris, etc., and, Aaron Clark." And she's like, "Who are they?" So my wife doesn't know much about league, but she knew that Tohu Harris had left, and she knows Sean Johnson had left because she was in love with Sean Johnson. But like most girls were. But she said it to me, and then she said to me, I said to you, no, you're wrong. They're going to make the top 8. She goes, "I'll bet you for it." So for context, my wife is South African, everyone, and she loves her Springboks. And the Springboks are playing the All Blacks this year in Wellington. She said, "We're going to the game, and if the Warriors don't make the top 8, you're wearing a Springboks jersey to the Test match with the All Blacks." And
it won't be finished time though, will it?
I think we looked at the dates. No, we looked at the dates. It'll work. it'll work. They play the rugby championship's been played further out later in September, so it should work in terms of we should find out whether they're playing to make the top 8 or not. And I need the Warriors to win because I am not bloody gonna wear a fucking Springboks jersey anywhere. I'd burn that thing. Yeah,
I mean, right. They'll sneak into 8th and lose in the first round.
Yep.
Manifest it, and then the opposite will happen.
Yeah. Oh no, yeah, no. I just had a little vision of myself in a Springboks jersey, and I just did not like it. No, not happening. Definitely not happening. I'm already having to have she bought a junior Springboks jersey for my son, and I was not impressed. With that. So yeah, no.
You gotta let her have that. You gotta let her have that. As long as he's got a little Waz kit.
He's got his Waz kit. You've seen. So he's got his Waz kit. So, but yeah. So those are our predictions. I'm just going to quickly read mine out from 1 to 17. You do yours, and then we'll round it up from there. So me, Storm, Panthers, Broncos, Sharks, Bulldogs, Warriors, Manly, Roosters. That's my top 8. And from 9 to 17, Tigers, Raiders, Souths, Dragons, Eels, Cowboys, Dolphins, Knights, and the Titans.
Storm, Sharks, Panthers, Broncos, Roosters, Seagulls, Warriors, Eels, top 8. Bottom 9, Tigers, Cowboys, Rabbitohs, Knights, Bulldogs, Dragons, Dolphins, Titans, and my beloved Raiders. Forward and spoon.
Well, those are our predictions, everyone. Hopefully, you'll get something out of that. But if you feel like you need to, go a little bit, different, fair enough. But yeah, in seriousness though, I think the Storm will be the team to beat this year, and I just think it's going to be hard to beat them. And I think you're on the same page with me there, around that. Yeah,
man, hard to disagree, but don't want to see it. But it's just that's what my head's telling me. But my heart says, the Warriors.
Yep. Exactly. Well, look, that's all we've got time for tonight. But thanks, guys, for listening, and thanks for all you everyone that's watching this as well on YouTube. Remember to keep supporting us. Don't forget to like and subscribe on these channels on Facebook, Instagram, Spotify, YouTube. Where else, Richard?
Yeah, Apple. Just wherever you get your podcasts, we should be there. And John's is thinking of diving into the world of TikTok, so keep your eyes out there because we're coming to get you, Gen Zers. Yeah, it's a scary one, mate. I uploaded the app and I was like, whoa! I started getting all these notifications. And I was like, whoa, what's going on here? I hadn't even put a profile up yet, and it's just got all these notifications. What the heck? What have I got myself into? But anyway, thanks guys for listening. Again, don't forget to like and subscribe. Spread the word about us, and just on a quick note there, very likely the next episode will be the episode before Vegas, and by then we should have a title change to our show because Couch Coaches, while we love the name, hasn't worked because there's so many other podcasts that have Couch Coaches, so that's our fault for not doing our research. But we think we might have a name ready for the forthcoming season, so watch the space. So thanks everyone, and good night. We've got the faith.